Okay.
All right. Well, welcome to our Thrive service tonight for innerjourney.org. It's February 1st. And so I always have felt that January in the year was the cleanup month, and the year really begins in February when things kind of really start moving forward. So here we are. So tonight, my topic is about love, but in relation to a recent movie that I saw, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So I'll open this service tonight, or this session tonight, with prayer first. So if you'll close your eyes and join me. Oh, and as I take this breath, sitting here in this moment, which is the only moment there is, I recognize that this breath is that fullness of divine love of God. It fills me and every part of my being. And as I breathe in and expand, it even fills the space where I am and fills my heart. And that is good and very good. Because I know that that breath and that essence that is God is that which is everything, everywhere, all at once. And it is good. And it is that which unfolds with ease and grace and unfolds for everything in its divine order with always a divine purpose. And so as we move into this information about love and about the divine and about God and science of mind and where it is at all times, I know that conversation is full of joy and love. And the information shared is that which brings joy to our hearts. And so I'm grateful for this time. And we just let this be and let it begin. And so it is. So the topic is love. Love is the greatest force in the universe. It is the great healer. And I have found a very interesting and fun visual of love in action in the most unexpected place, a movie titled Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Have you seen it? It was a big movie. It won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2023 last year. And the description is, it's about a middle-aged Chinese immigrant who is swept up into an insane adventure in which she alone can save the existence by exploring other universes and connecting with the lives that she could have led. It's a story of Evelyn, the wife, Raymond, the husband, which they always pronounce as Wayman, which I think is kind of cute, and their daughter, Joy. It stars Michelle Yay. Now, I know I may not get these names pronounced right. Stephanie Sue, Jamie Lee Curtis, which we all know, and Ki Hugh Kwan, which I recognize I've seen in so many movies, but never knew what his name was. So I have avoided this movie until recently. Maybe I just wasn't ready to grasp the message that it brought. Maybe I thought the whole Academy Award system had gone crazy because the trailer makes this movie look just bizarre. I'm not really sure. Until recently, something just tagged me and perked my interest. I don't even remember what it was, but I knew I had to watch this movie. So knowing that it had been quite popular in the award system, I looked up on my favorite app, and my movie app, it's IMDb, which tells you everything you want to know about a movie. And so last year in the Academy Awards for 2023, it got original screenplay, best picture of the year, achievement in directing, actress in a leading role, both supporting actresses won for their roles, film editing, the music score, and the song. So it did well. It won 6 Golden Globe Awards, 10 BAFTA Awards, 6 international awards. And I thought, what the heck? And I started counting, and there was an additional 730 more awards this movie won across the country and around the world. I did count them all. I just couldn't believe how many. The list kept going. This is a movie of love. Oneness, how love heals. It's metaphysics, it's the multiverse, it's quantum physics, it's hope, and how kindness can change things. Not just in the moment, but these energies of kindness and love ripple out in all directions. This movie, to me, is a visual of science of mind. I hope I'm not giving too much away as I go through some of it in the discussion tonight, but after watching the movie the first time, I had to watch it a second time just for the pure joy of it, because I knew what the format was and the story it was telling, and I could pay attention in a different way. So I'm watching this movie, and it wasn't too far in. I had to turn on the closed captions because my mind couldn't keep up with the switch back and forth between the English and the Chinese, and then the action that was happening so quickly. It's written so well as far as entertainment value because you really visually are watching a puzzle come together of love being put together with moving pieces, but you don't realize it at first. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on until I got further into it. But maybe that's one of the reasons I loved it so much. I love things that kind of keep me engaged and on the edge of my seat. But for now, let's talk about love. Love, which is sometimes undefinable. There are as many definitions of love as there are people. It's a noun, it's a verb, a feeling, an emotion. And I think usually described as it is actually being felt by the person who's defining it. In the Science of Mind text, the 1926 version from Special Articles, Factors Necessary for Dynamic Personality, it says the universal urge to express the self-givingness of spirit. And that's page 295. And then from the glossary of that book, it says the givingness of self. And that's page 380. In the Science of Mind text, the 1938 version, it says, love is the self-givingness of the spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Emerson tells us that love is a synonym for God. We are also told in the New Testament that he hath loveth not, knoweth not God, for God is love. Love is free from condemnation, even as it is free from fear. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. That's page 608. Now, also in the 1938 version, on page 478, the teachings of Jesus, love from John 13, 34, and 35. Love one another as I have loved you. Now, Ernest Holmes expands on this. And he says, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are his expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. Love is an essence, an atmosphere which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those who love them as well. Love reigns supreme through all, over all. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows, I'm sorry, yeah, oh, yeah, that's right. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depths or meanings. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact God is love, and love is God. I've read that a couple times today and over the last couple days as I prepared this, and it starts to create this feeling itself when you read it. So he expresses that so well. Carl Rogers, clinical psychologist working with children at a mental health clinic in Rochester, New York in 1956, said, love is the concept of the highest unconditional positive regard. I think that's the most interesting definition I've ever heard. Highest unconditional positive regard. I like that. So I looked up the definition of love in Webster's dictionary, and it's defined simply as strong affection or liking for someone or something, passionate affection. And interesting, it's the score of a tennis game. I guess we can't leave that out. I don't know. I have to look up the history of tennis, how they ever got those two together, I wonder. If you look in a thesaurus, it separates the noun of love and the verb of love and goes on forever. Lots of different words to describe that. I won't put that here. And the Bible verses I looked up all kind of resonate the same way and use the same words: patient, kind, compassionate, forgiving, not self-seeking, sincere, love others as God loves you. And of course, there's that most famous quote of all from the movie Love Story: love is never having to say you're sorry. Remember that one? And we all cried watching that. As personally right now, I'm moving through the grief process. I've learned how love and grief are actually intertwined. From the author Francis Weller, we cannot grieve for something we have not loved. Grief acknowledges that everything we love, we will lose, no exceptions. Now, of course, we want to argue this point, saying we will keep in our hearts the love we've had for our parents, our spouse, our children, or friends and pets, or, yes, that's true. It is grief, however, that allows our heart to stay open to love, to remember sweetly the ways these people touched our lives. It is a holy thing to love what death can touch. Grief says that I dared to love and that I allowed another to enter the very core of my being and find a home in my heart. So the intertwining of love and grief helps us to find the very center of us. That helped a lot when I read that. So if you decide to watch the movie, approximately two and a half hours, you watch the personalities and of these characters, because they also tell a story about why they're doing what they're doing. They do it with their actions. It's a visual of how they create responses to those around them, and then how their reactions come back to them and what they do about that. It's this entanglement, the constant kind of push-pull between people and in relation, no matter what they're doing. And we think we are being loving to them in these actions, or maybe we want to be, but are fearful of being loving. Or we think we have to be in battle all the time. People have different concepts about how they relate to people and why. The subtlety of all this came up for me in a couple different ways. Actually, before I do that, let me give you a taste of this movie. I'm going to show you I'll get my little things kind of out of the way. I'm going to show you, let me get to screen share. Here we go. Here's the poster over on the side. And let's watch the trailer together. It's about 2.5 minutes. And I hope you can hear this okay.
Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
Now, you may only see a pile of receipts, but I see a story. I can see where this story is going. It does not look good.
The solution of the universe, you're here because we need your help.
Very busy today. No time to help you.
Where's the multiverse? Including of ignorance. Memories, the emotions, the skills. The great evil. That is what the universe is. And you. Maybe your only chance is something.
Only people like you, I am really good.
I don't believe you.
Ah, oh, it's really good. He's waiting in the wings.
The universe
He speaks of sunset wings.
is so much bigger
Within you.
than you realize.
Of all the places I could be, I just want to be share with you. Remember our mission and some of the fate of every single world of our infinite multiverse. There's no way I am the Evelyn you are looking for.
Every rejection, every disappointment is made for you. This moment. Distract you from it.
We have here is an epidemic. Intergenerational cosmetic larceny. It's happening.
All right, let's bring everything back. There we go. Oh, hold on here. I'm so sorry. Let's see here. There we go. No. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. That is just wild. I laugh at seeing some of those parts in there. I love how they even play David Bowie on the trailer because he's not in the movie, but that's okay. So there are some subtleties in this movie. I know it looks kind of crazy in the trailer, which is why I didn't watch it for so long. But it's about love. Interestingly enough, there are some subtleties that came forward. So the mundane experiences of our lives and our culture, even today, distract us and pull us away from the deep spiritual purpose of our lives and our desires. And we're willingly distracted because we don't know any different. Our experiences from childhood, the simplest things that were said or happened to us in our young mind end up getting buried, but yet they can influence us unconsciously for the rest of our lives. To be in emotional pain can make us feel as if nothing matters. And after a while, even the pain and the guilt that you feel from not making your life what it wanted to be or what you could be, even that goes away. And there's emptiness. But this is not only about love and healing, it's also recognizing how we've left our dreams and our desires and their potential out of reach and even not finishing our goals. And I see some of that in myself, but it actually is still reachable. And how often do we wish we were something or someone else, maybe more important or made more of our lives? And that's where hope becomes a motivator. And it's love and acceptance and being honest with ourselves, not being afraid to be honest at the same time. And that is, it's important to who we are in that. And not just to, how can we be open and honest and even defenseless when we are honest with ourselves, but even when we're trying to communicate with other people? If we can let down those defenses and just be in that place of a presence of love for ourselves and for others, because that can change the environment of something. And they even said in the trailer, every reaction and every disappointment you've ever had has led you to where you are in this very moment right now. And where can you go? Because you can make a decision and a choice at that point. This movie really made me think. I liked it a lot. And it's comical at the same time. And its big message for me is hard to describe because I know that love heals. We teach that. We all know that. But maybe it was a feeling of a response that I had that it gave me. When I saw it, it kind of visually came to life in a way that so resonated with so many beliefs I have on many different levels. And I cried as it got to the end and when it was over. I cried the first time, I cried the second time. So if you watch it, you must let me know what you think of it. And I would love to discuss it with someone. No matter how I have described it, it will come to you in your own conclusion at the end. So I've shared mine and would love to hear yours. We all see things differently. We all feel things differently. We all feel love on many levels differently. And to those who view this on YouTube after it's posted, and if you've seen it, leave a comment about what you thought and how it affected you. And I know some of you may not like it at all. You may not want to watch it. I didn't care. There was a movie called Lobster a couple of years ago with Colin Farrell that we turned it off halfway through. It was one of those where I couldn't figure what the heck I was watching. I didn't even want to finish it. And there were other minister friends who thought it was an artistic masterpiece. So I think having finished this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm going to go back and watch Lobster and see what I think of that one. So I think we all have movie titles also that stick with us for many reasons. They tag us emotionally somehow. And maybe they answer a question that we've not really asked out loud and that comes to us, or something in some unconscious way. It's just perfect in that moment. There are 3 other movies that have stayed with me for many years because they touched me in a very different, special way. It was either love or acceptance or spiritual, something like that. But or even the answer in that, a question that I would never asked out loud. And the first one was Being There with Peter Sellers from 1979. I loved that. The second one was The Unbearable Lightness of Being with Daniel Day-Lewis and Juliette Binoche, which I watch everything she's in. That's from 1988. And the third one was a movie called Powder, which was probably the most metaphysical, spiritual thing I'd ever seen on the screen. And the main character was Sean Patrick Flannery from 1995. So in conclusion, love shows up for us in the most unexpected places, in very unexpected ways. They touch us in a way that is personal and has meaning for us. So, and I would love to hear what has meaning for you. So thank you. So questions, comments, sharing.
What has meaning? It's very interesting in that love shows up when we're ready. And if we're not ready, we don't see it. It
Yeah.
might be right there, but we don't see it because we're not in the place. And it can come in strange, unusual ways from strange places. Just show up. It's like, oh, wow. It's absolutely fascinating when we're open to seeing it where it is. And that's the truth for whatever it is that we're looking for. If we're open to seeing it, whether it's love or a job or friendship or whatever it is, we have to be in the right place to be open to seeing it. And then it appears. It's like, oh yeah, I was there all along. You just weren't ready.
That's right.
So I find for myself, the idea of being open and willing to see or willing to look for whatever's out there. When I ask for something particularly, then I need to be quiet and listen to something that says, look here. And sometimes that will give me an answer that I didn't get before. But if I'm asking questions and I'm just rambling on and 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 on about the questions, then I'm not listening for the answers. And if I'm busy rambling, then I'm not in a place to be willing to receive the love that's out there, or the money, or the friendship, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, I had so many thoughts go through my head while you were speaking. And I've always heard that anything that we want to bring into our lives, we have to be that first. And so for people who are looking for love, no matter what kind of love it is, or I guess if you're looking for romantic love, but even if you're trying to be a more loving presence in your home and change a relationship, even in the family, it sometimes can take some work to be in that presence of love
Mhm.
yourself and see with the eyes of love for something that you're looking for, um and love well, and here's the biggest one: how can we love ourselves the way we want others to love us? Because if we're looking for it outside of us, it's not going to be what we want. We may think
Right.
it is, right?
Right.
It
Right.
changes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I think there's a piece there that says I have to be willing to love myself and be in the place of knowing that I love myself
mhm,
before I can even be open to having somebody else love me or finding somebody else that I can love.
yeah,
And that's not always easy because we have all this media that tells us we're not so great.
that's right. Yeah,
So it tells us, oh my gosh, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too skinny, you're too short. I mean, whatever it is, your hair is not curly enough, your hair is too straight. I mean, it's just all.
that's right.
And years ago, I saw a listened to a motivational speaker, and who's going on and on and on about how we the media does all of this stuff. And this was way before we even had internet media. So she was talking about magazine ads and newspaper ads. And she said, and I saw a magazine ad and it said, and what about your feet? As
You're
if
right.
your feet, yes, as if you've gotten all of your stuff together. You're perfectly made up. Your hair is done absolutely excellent. You got good clothes on and you get all of this stuff. But did you even stop to think about what your feet were like? And she just goes on and on and on in this motivational thing going, it's not about the feet. It's about your loving yourself and how good you are to yourself. So
Yeah,
it's, we have way too much pressure to be something else.
yeah. I read through a lot of the Bible verses about love, and I confess and honest, I've not read the entire Bible. I have not read the entire New Testament. Where most of these, where all of these verses came from that I looked at last couple days. But when they said, when the word was to love your neighbor as God loves you, or just to love your neighbor, there was really no reference about loving the self.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never thought about that before today because of the topic and what I was looking for specifically. But we have to love ourselves first,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it becomes a disconnect almost.
Mm-hmm.
So, gosh, love is the topic that goes on forever.
And when we say love God, we cannot love God and not love ourselves because we are one. So that piece to me has been there since I started in Science of Mind. There's only one of us here. So when the two commandments were love God and love thy neighbor or something like that. I mean, I can't remember how they're worded right now. I'm just totally drawing a blank. But it was love thy neighbor as thyself. It was one of them, but the part that was remembering was the love God, and that's, if you love God, then you have to love yourself because you are one with that.
Right. Yeah. I love that we teach that And it makes so much sense when you understand and can grasp the idea of oneness,
Mhm.
and that there is only the one, like you say, and the law of one, actually. So we're all connected and we're all in that expression. And that has helped me through a lot of circumstances, emotional circumstances. I will say that in my grief work and a group that I meet with, there's a lot of conversation about being angry at God because we've lost someone that we love. And people's different responses to it. And I can't remember in my lifetime that I've ever thought to be angry at God, even before I found Science of Mind.
Mhm.
I guess I always, back before I found Science of Mind, my question was, well, what does he have to do with it? Because, but I find that interesting. And again, it brings me back to, I'm so blessed that I understand, or that I am in this philosophy that God is everything right here, and that there's really nothing to be angry for
Mhm.
at this point. So also interesting to learn and comprehend the reading that I found, that love and grief are intertwined and work together.
Mhm.
And understanding that is also a part of healing, because it's part of life.
Right.
Yeah. So love, 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 love it up.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember being angry with God. I remember being angry with my husband that died because he left. He was the one that left. It was not God's fault. I mean, but this was way before Science of Mind anyway. So
Yeah.
my anger was not directed to God. I didn't go there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, do you have a movie that sticks in your emotional level of, remembering something that really tagged your heart?
It's been so many years since I've seen a movie. Man, I think the last movie I saw was What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh,
We're down the rabbit hole. Those were the last movies that I mean, I saw some of the Harry Potter. Did see the whole Harry Potter series, but just haven't done much movies at all over the years.
yeah.
So
I do like going to the movies. Wow. Very cool. And I've
yeah.
not watched a single Harry Potter movie.
Oh my gosh.
Just the timing of it just never worked for me.
I can remember standing in line in Britain when the first one came out with my 12-year-old son, getting to go in and watch the movie to when we
Yeah.
could go to another town because the town we were in wasn't big enough to even have a theater. So, but we did, and we saw it, and it was worth every minute of the wait and every pound that we spent to get in it.
Oh, good.
Absolutely remarkable at the time. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, a movie that a lot of friends talk about at Christmas that they watch almost every year is Love Actually.
okay.
And it's all these little, it looks like little vignettes of people's experiences of love with different individuals at that time of the year. And then it's also an overriding story of how everything connects with everybody throughout. So that's an interesting one too. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, that was my portion for this evening. Is there anything you would like to add or say as we move on to the end?
No, but I want to go see the movie now. My interest.
Yeah, well, and you can, I don't know, oh, well, I have to say, you pull it up online, you can stream it, but whatever services you have for that.
But since I don't watch movies, I don't have any.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out, but I'm sure I can.
Okay. It is pretty interesting. So thank you, Reverend Sue Ellen, for coming. And I would like to show our phone number and our web link on the web if you would be interested in donating or offering a love offering for this tonight. And as we keep going with this service twice a month, first and third Thursday of the month. And when there's 5 Thursdays, we also are on the 5th Thursday with a visioning, which will be this month on February 29th. So there is our phone number, 405-337-9739. And so we thank you for any love offering that comes in. And as you do that, the word for tonight would be peace. As you pull in the phone number, you would put the word peace and what a love offering you would choose. So thank you very much for that. And with that, then I guess we are done, and I'll close us out with a little benediction. So I welcome what has come forward tonight and welcome the evening as it unfolds, knowing that I do my best to keep myself in that presence of love always, knowing that the love of the divine of God is right here within me, as me, through me, and also Sue Ellen and all individuals, and hope that they can come to that understanding and knowing of that truth and let it be the guide in the moment. And so I give thanks for all that has come forward and the joy and the smiles and the information shared. And so we just let that go. And so it is.
So it is.
Blessings to you.
Turn off the recording.